All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Good afternoon, good morning. Thank you for joining us at this webinar information session about ChartGO. As you can see, one solution, unlimited potential. Now, this is the start of a series of webinars we are going to roll out and really trying to give you as much understanding and increase your understanding and your knowledge of learning, application of learning, results in learning, the technology we use in learning, and of course all this while we think of this crazy world we live in at the moment. So this webinar today is going to be a nice overview of this ChartGO product. It's something new that we launched 2 months ago, and really excited to show you how this is really focused to make sure that we can help especially small and medium-sized businesses with your learning and development needs. So this is our AI-powered learning platform and ready-to-launch training solution that help teams grow faster, perform better, and stay future-ready. So today, it's really about, there's one key message I want to show you about how we will partner with you as an HR business partner and the value and importance of that. We will also look at the importance of structured learning journeys and the learning ecosystem. But before we get into too much detail, let me show you about our core team. So Peter Hoeing, based in Sweden, as you can see, extensive experience in software, technology, really great to work with Peter as the CEO. And my name, Hennie Lombaard, I'm the COO based in South Africa. And really in my focus area is facilitation, coaching, and the real setup and structure of your learning journey and path as we move forward. Now, before we start, I would like to share a quote with you from Rose Benedicts of Training Industry. A learning ecosystem is a collection of people, processes, and tools that deliver, integrate, and support the L&D function across your organization. Every organization has a learning ecosystem, just like every business has a culture, whether it was formed intentionally or not. And I want you to really look at that word, formed intentionally or not. I think often there's this conception that we can just put the content out there and the users will gravitate to the content and it will be okay. The users will just use whatever we put out there. With the amount of information available these days, I think the need for learning, structured learning, is becoming more and more relevant rather than just putting a variety of content out there in front of your people. So I think it's clear we need a different way of approaching learning in the current business environment. So ChartGO was born with a key focus in mind to provide a fusion or a blend of formal learning, which we know as the theory, social learning opportunities, and accountability. The key for us is reflections and connecting the learning to the bigger goals and organizational strategy. How do we link that in a better way? Even if it's done at 20%, you do it better than not doing it at all. So really just thinking about your strategy in the end as well. Now let's take a look at this in more detail. So what are the components for us that's critical in ChartGO? So the all-in-one AI-powered learning platform. So this is the base where the formal learning really runs on. We're going to expand on this more in the coming webinars, showing you more about this, but it's a full LMS suite that's available for you with full reporting and analysis that you can look at. Also has opportunities to link it with single sign-on, etc. Then there's 750 courses ready to use. It's I'm going to get into the details of the content later, but on the LMS, tracking your completion, and again, making sure all users are engaged in this formal learning segment. Then the key thing for us that we discovered is to this partner approach. So we want to position ourselves as your L&D business partner at a fraction of the cost and time, if you think about it. So we want to really sit with you and say, all right, let's look at your team or a particular team. Let's understand their needs. Let's look at the gap analysis. Let's set a learning plan in place and a structured learning path in place. What's going to be the start date? When's the end date? How are we going to run these various modules? What's going to be mandatory to complete and what's going to be optional for them to complete? And that's going to be a way for us to really then get some spark and enthusiasm into the team to work together and complete this learning journey. It's a quick to launch solution, ladies and gentlemen. This is, if you want to start tomorrow afternoon, we can start tomorrow afternoon once we understand your learning paths you want to set up. It's a complete corporate learning solution with the technology, the content, and the support that you will get from us as well. So focus on this. I'm sure you can see we're focusing on creating a very unique learning ecosystem. It's not just a platform, it's not just content, but it's really a complete learning ecosystem. Now, why is this holistic approach important? So our mission is to make world-class training or learning accessible and affordable for every small and mid-sized company. So this is really our mission and why we formed ChartGO. Now, you will notice that this learning ecosystem is a partnership approach and not just a once-off solution. So for us, we want to welcome ourselves into your business as HR business partners and help you on this journey. Now, why do we do that? Because I think you will agree that there's a lot of frustration around getting the learning journeys going and keeping track of learning and understanding what needs to change at certain times. And the outcome of that is often that we want to show you is increased productivity, business continuity, and greater employee retention. That for us is critical. If we can get that right and improve those three elements and levers, we know we are on the right path to making a shift in the culture as such. So let's look at the content in a bit more detail. So as I mentioned, there's over 750 topics available in the formal learning element. Now, when we look at the first bucket, we call it the soft skills development with application. So here we talk about leadership, personal development, sales excellence, customer service, high-performing teams, and also soft skills in the AI era, thinking about the impact of AI in change management, time management, problem solving, etc. So that's really for emerging leaders, for mid-sized leaders, leaders in the medium band in the organization. And then, of course, it's for anyone who wants to look at their personal development. But then we also have a second bucket and a third bucket. The second bucket is focus on compliance. So here we talk about US and UK compliance we have available, where it from data protection to ethics to anti-bribery, harassment, GDPR, whatever it might be. If you need a compliance solution, it's already available in the ChartGO platform. Then, of course, productivity tools. If you think of Microsoft, Google, AI, etc., there's a whole range of productivity tools available. And if we think about Office and Teams and SharePoint and all these technical elements that often makes a big impact. We find, for example, in the retail space that often there's mistakes that creep into the daily work because people are not 100% proficient in using tools like Excel or a SaaS system that they're working on, and they need to be trained on that. So these three buckets together really form a fantastic learning ecosystem for us to focus on with your team. Now, when we started looking at this and putting this together, we found that there's a massive gap between the analysis and the implementation phase. So when we think about identifying skills gaps and how we're going to do this to implementation, we found that there's a massive gap in most organizations there. Often the assessment gets done, it's a very clear indicator of what is the skills gaps, but then it can take 18 months before you go to implementation. And by that time you realize, we need to do the assessment again because now things have changed. People have changed, the business environment has changed, we need new skills, now we must do it again, and it's a vicious cycle of not action being getting into action at all. So we are here to take that pressure off you, and we help you with that and work with you to really achieve the best possible learning solution with you. Now, we have a methodology that really underpin all of this, and we use whenever we design or implement any learning program. This methodology is critical. It's called the Performance Assurance System. So you can see there's 5 phases that we basically highlight here. Now, I spoke a lot about multiple concepts, but I'm going to try and pull it all together now for us in this slide. So in phase 1, we sit with you and we understand, let's understand your skills gap. Let's understand the developmental path that we need certain groups or individuals in your team to be on. What does that learning plan look like for the next 6 or 12 months? Let's think about scheduling that upfront already. Who's going to be attending path 1 versus path 2 versus path 3? How is it going to impact across departments for sales, customer service, leadership, etc.? So how do we focus all of that and pull it together to create the best possible solution? Now, that is step 1. Then we go and we say, all right, let's kick off with the formal learning. This is where they log into the LMS. They now go into their learning path and their journey. And here's where the formal learning kicks in, and they go through self-paced online content with the quiz, which we are all very familiar with. And this is where we look at already starting to look slowly but surely about the knowledge and skills improvement in some way or the other. Now, the next element, phase 3 and 4, almost again blends into each other, where this is where we start thinking of the application and the social learning coming to life. So this is where theory meets practice, allowing users to make connections to their role and the skills while they solidify their understanding, really improving their understanding, and not only on the content, but in the social learning with their team, with their group, within their role, to really understand it much better and share best practices. So if we look at this here, for example, we have an element of, say, peer-to-peer learning, where we get the groups into small cohorts and we say, help us create something. Think about these 3 questions relevant to your role. How was the learning relevant? How has things changed in your environment in the last 12 months? Really share some best practices, some examples, some stories over a coffee, over a lunch, and just really get to bond on that social learning level as well. Along with that, there's the community and reflection. So in the community, we get the group to share stories. We get them to think of, I saw this the weekend. This is quite interesting for us to look at as well. So any outside information and learning opportunities we want to share with a team, we do it as a community, and we reflect on that and say, what can we learn? How is this similar or different to us and what we do? And then the key final step, ladies and gentlemen, is application and behavior change. So this is for us the critical final step, which is a non-negotiable. It's where we really take the group and we say, all right, let's look at learning journey 1, learning path 1. So if we look at this group or this cohort of learners, how do we take you from understanding the content, what's the key elements, what are those habits that we've become accustomed to that we might need to change, what's that mindset shift we need to make to ensure that we can achieve our results, achieve our targets? What do we need to change and think about differently moving forward? How do we optimize our teamwork and leveraging the teamwork with the brilliant people I have in my team to make sure we achieve our goals? So that is where we go and we say, what was the key learning? What do we need to change or enhance or maybe start doing that we never thought of? And how do we take that forward? So that is the the whole formula, if you want to call it that. So this is our formula to say, if you want to think about a learning culture, a deliberate learning culture, this is going to be critical steps to follow to get you there. Yes, there's some merit. Sometimes we might just need social learning. Sometimes we might just need formal learning. Sometimes we might just need a face-to-face interaction. But when you infuse these all together, you get a very potent solution to help you. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time today. This is going to be our first step in our journey with you, and really understanding how we get you to take the full learning solution, how we partner with you as an HR business partner to take that pressure and that stress and that strain off you when you think about learning and developing and getting the best out of the people around you. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We will be available, and any other suggestions you have, please let us know. I'm delighted you joined us today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.